Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. What is the heart and what is the ego in Sufism or Tasawwuf? Chances are that if you are searching a lot on Sufism, Sufi, heart, path, and so on and so forth, you might not have learned the truth or an authentic teaching on what the heart is in Sufism. Therefore, I will read a letter to you by Sayydina Ahmad Tijani radiallahu anhu himself to a Sidi Haj Ali Harazim. So this teaching from Sayydina Ahmad Tijani radiallahu anhu, this letter contains wisdom and true authentic Tasawwuf teaching on what is the heart and what is the ego and what is the passion and pleasure seeking side of the heart and the ego. As I read this letter, I will also add my own interpretation of this as best as I can. Allahu alam. Allah is the only one who knows the truth. So Sayyidina Ahmad Tijani writes, you have mentioned the great efforts that you make and that are necessary in order to achieve your aim, to accomplish good deeds for the hereafter, the akhirah. This is due to the part of your soul which is drawn to rest. It is absorbed in passion because it had thought that it could attain the stations of knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala effortlessly. So Sayyidina Ahmad Tijani is talking about here the marifah, the highest level of ihsan, that your heart thinks that you can get to marifah without making any effort. And this is a situation that most people I meet who are interested in Tasawwuf, they are exactly in this state where Sayyidina Ahmad Tijani radiallahu anhu writes here. They want to achieve fana and marifah and all of this, and they don't want to do any work. He continues. Thus, it tends towards resting, where it has been led by its passion. The carnal heart that is driven by passion. It is realized that its aim regarding knowledge of Allah can only be obtained to the well-known efforts that the spiritual path, or tariqah, requires, and by renouncing bad habits. Then it would certainly have met all its requirements. Indeed, it yearns for the object of its research, but imagines that it is possible to obtain it without struggle. Because of this, it does not make the required effort and does not renounce pleasure and passion. Yeah, this is the situation we are in. This is why it is so difficult to teach Tasawwuf on social media. It's actually impossible to the level that I personally give out very little teachings on Tasawwuf online, because everything in the modern culture is built on boosting your carnal heart, or the nafs, the pleasure-seeking side in you. It's about entertainment. It should be fun. It should be interesting. And even the knowledge we have about Sufism online is heavily regulated in the algorithms, what kind of people you get to teach you about Sufism. It boosts your ego. It doesn't burn your ego. So there is no burning of ego effect in any of the teachings online unless you meet an authentic sheikh. So the path is not supposed to be fun in this sense, or only about what you want to hear, or the mystical secrets of Shams al-Ma'arif or something like this. It is actually to fast your ego. Let's continue. For each obstacle, the appropriate measure should be applied. He who thinks he can face obstacles simply by his heart in its present state without taking into account the proper rules does not know the divine principle. By thinking this way, he will reap only fatigue and nothing else. The example given for the obstacles is that of a cloud in the sky. And the examples of the efforts behind it is the sun. So you have cloud in the sky, and then behind the clouds you have the sun. If the sky becomes clear, then the sun appears. But if the clouds remain, then they represent an obstacle between it and us. So the clouds are these passions and pleasures and desires of your ego that stand in the way for you, which you have to overcome to reach the sun, which is some kind of metaphor of the light of Allah inside of you, or the presence of Allah, Hadratullah. It is not conceivable that clouds may remain in the sky and that the sun could appear at the same time. Think and meditate upon this. You will benefit from a great knowledge. Since our heart is covered by obstacles, it leans toward laziness and it is led as much as possible towards passion, and it becomes impregnated with images of created things, and it is drawn towards them. Now this is such a wise verse, so much wisdom here, because most people that think they meditate, they are not meditating, because it is their ego watching their ego. It is not Allah watching ego. Muraqabah is not your ego watching ego. Muraqabah is Allah watching ego. But when you get impregnated with images of created things, your ego kind of creates images that you observe in meditation. That's not meditation. That is ego watching ego. At this point, the heart, which is disturbed by the passions, has moved away from the Hadratullah, Holy Presence, and all that it implies. All of these troubles can only disappear from the heart by obtaining great openings, or fatwa, which is accompanied by effusions from the ocean of knowledge of Allah. Other than this, and as long as these obstacles remain in your heart, do not hope to see it empty itself of darkness and trouble. So, as you can see here, the classical Tasawwuf is much more about burning your heart from the passions and desires that ultimately represents an effort and an obstacle which stands between you and the true light of Allah inside of you. So remember, the real Tasawwuf is about burning ego. It is not just about adding new things to it. Indeed, the presence of the truth is governed by rules in which it does not fail to comply. That which Allah requires of you in this very moment is to be found precisely where you are right now. The wisdom, the truth is always in the moment. Because the moment, the presence, that right here, right now is the truth. Everything else is illusion. This is a deep verse. You could go endlessly on this sentence, but okay, let's continue. So halt in your services wherever Allah has placed you at that particular moment. This is your priority. So leave all the things that don't concern you. Where you are right now in your life is where Allah wants you. You're doing what Allah wants you to do right now, so do it well. This is the more beneficial to you than throwing your thoughts into a desire where obstacles will arise and which will result in nothing. So submit your situation to Allah. Know that everything happens at the decreed time and cannot be hastened by your precipitation. If you want to sever yourself from your situation in order to illuminate and purify your heart, isolate yourself somewhere without any relationship except with Allah. So this is khalwa. And again, going into a deeper knowledge of qadr, or divine decree, that everything happens by the will of Allah. Like we say in West Africa, in the Sufi world, Allah's time is the best. So don't worry about when you're going to get the promotion or when you're going to get married or all of these kinds of things that you might be worrying about. Allah's time is best. You are where you're supposed to be right now. Allah does not make mistakes with steep. Impose upon yourself to have no other desire except Allah. Spend all your time in the invocation of the unique names of Allah. You will experience the extraordinary in the establishment of purity. No other desires except Allah. It's also something that Sayydina Ibrahim Niyas radiallahu anhu writes about. This purify your intention. Sayydina Ibrahim Niyas says, when you do Salatul Fatihi, don't do it because you want a marif, or you want to be a sheikh, or you want to be this or that. Jews, only for Allah. When you do things, do it only for Allah. Only for Allah. No other intention, only Allah. And this is what is said here. No other desire except Allah. So purify all other desires. But if your soul does not help you in this, know that it is Allah who wants of you what we have mentioned previously. So abandon all the bad thoughts that follow one another in your heart, for they will lead to a lack of proprietary towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ourselves by requesting something that does not correspond to your interiority, given the fact that it is the opposite of this. You want to reap without sowing. To find pearls one must dive. If you have understood, that is enough. Oof. And the funny thing is that people don't appreciate this ancient knowledge of the old Sufi world. Muhammad Ali is known to have said something very similar to this statement by Sayydina Ahmad Tijani, that if you want to find pearls, you have to dive deep. And also, Elijah Muhammad taught like this: precious things in the world are hidden. The knowledge of Ma'rifah is hidden. The deep mystical secrets of the world is hidden knowledge. Don't search for it. It's not allowed, or is, like Sayyidina Ibrahim Niyas said, it's worse than haram to reveal the knowledge of Ma'rifah to the world, which is why I lash out at these so-called people on YouTube who just expose the precious hidden secrets of the way to the whole world. But there is hope in this, because Allah will veil the people, inshallah. So they will not understand it, and the people who reveal these secrets will also not understand it. So they will misguide people anyways. And it also shows that if you want something that is very precious, you have to work hard for it, and you have to search very candidly and very dedicatedly to get what you want. Even if it is something like Ma'rifah, don't expect like you are gonna get Ma'rifah without taking your bay'ah to a Sufi order, following a sheikh, doing your zikr, your lazim, your wasifa, your salatul fatihi. Don't expect that you're gonna reach Ma'rifah without it. You can just sit and do nothing. You don't even do your 5 prayers and you want to be arif billah. It's not gonna happen. Regarding the guarantee of the knowledge of Allah, the decree of Muhyiddin ibn Arabi, I guarantee you this, except with the regards to his station as Paul Qutb, because I know nothing of this situation, nor that of any other. I cannot guarantee this because it depends entirely on the will and the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as for your love for us, I guarantee you that you will die if you abandon that which we fear for you. You will die with it if you abandon that which we fear for you. Indeed, I fear that what you covet through us will break the link between us. This does not come from me, but from your insistence on this matter. Then, if your life is long and you see nothing of that which you covet, you will be overwhelmed with bad thoughts, such as there is nothing left to hope for, nor any benefit. Then you will despair of us and seek elsewhere. In this way, love will be severed at the root, and you will fall into trouble, and that you will be unable to bear. I am not going to go into details. You will see for yourself if you separate yourself from us. Even in this occurs after some time. Then you will have regrets, but regrets will be useless. So go and devote yourself to the litanies that we have given you. Lasim, Wazifa, and maybe other litanies that the Shaykh might give to the Murid. Surrendering to Allah and accepting the position where He has placed you until the openings occur for both us and you. Renounce anything that is outside of this. Such wisdom. Alhamdulillah. As for your request concerning the guarantee of the knowledge of Allah, or Marifatullah, pure of all confusion and whose reality would be linked to the law or Sharia, you have no need for any guarantee because it cannot be otherwise. I guarantee that you will not be dispossessed as long as you remain in our love. This guarantee also covers everything under this, such as entering paradise without judgments. And I have forgiven you concerning the things that you do not know regarding lack of propriety. Alhamdulillah. So, the intention of this was to show the path of the Sufi in struggling against his passions and desires. It's like fasting. The month of Ramadan is a pure practicing what you can call Tasawwuf or Ihsan, right? Because you're leaving away, you're deleting things from you, the hunger for food and these kinds of things. You're challenging yourself. And the enormous challenge any Sufi has trying to teach Tasawwuf in an age of the mobile phone, of TikTok, of instant pleasure, instant passion here, fun video here, dramatic video here, political drama, drama between left and right. Everything is drama, it's entertainment, it's instant gratification. This is the polar opposite of burning your ego. This is boosting your ego. So we are living in an age of consumerism and materialism where everything is designed to boost your ego. So how then, if I am tasked with teaching Tasawwuf, can I teach you a knowledge that is designed to burn your ego or your passions and desires, to starve you from it? I don't know. May Allah guide us. Hopefully this was helpful. Assalamu alaikum.